So, Eric.
Yeah. Introduce us to our callers so we know who we'll be talking to. Huh? So we have Walid Shoebat and his son Theodore Shoebat of Shoebat Ministry, Shoebat.com. Where I have some similarity with them is having a lot of issues with Islam, being anti-Islam. Where I really take issue is I consider them to, within the world of what's commonly called counter-jihad, or what I would think of as just anti-Islam, I would consider them to be part of our lunatic fringe, because a lot of what they're putting out is what I would call Christian hate. For example, the idea that God wants his followers to execute homosexuals, to execute witches, things of this nature, that they're calling for a one world theocratic Christian government that everybody must submit to. Things of this nature are not only out of step with mainstream Christianity, but in my mind just loony, and on a moral and legal level, I'm concerned that they're potentially inciting violence. So I wanted to discuss that. And when I had mentioned some of my differences to Theodore Shoebat, he said, name the time and place, I'll debate you. So here we are. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you for accepting the offer of debate. You came onto the Facebook page and you made your intentions or your beliefs about us very clear. You don't like the fact, though, even though we are against Islam, we are preaching Christianity, Christian views, Christian virtues and precepts. And I know that you have a problem with that. You want us Christians not to be. No, you want us Christians to talk about Islam, but you don't want us Christians to talk about Christianity. And I think that this is. I think that this is. It's really silly, to be honest with you, because Islam. If you ever read anti-Islamic literature, you may be thinking, when you hear anti-Islamic literature, you may be thinking Robert Spencer, you may be thinking Pamela Geller or whatever. No, when I talk about anti-Islamic literature, I talk about books that were written against Islam when Islam was a very, very, very new cult, a sect. Theodore Abu Qura, Peter of Maimuna, you have John the Deacon. These were some of the earliest, St. John of Damascus, some of the earliest anti-Islamic writers in Islam's history, in the history of counter-jihad, if I can use the term that way. And they were all Catholic. They were all Christian. Why is the question? Well, Islam was not founded to go against secularism. Islam was not founded to destroy atheism, or it wasn't even founded to destroy Buddhism or Hinduism. It was founded explicitly to destroy Christianity. Muhammad was a pagan. He was born a pagan, but he converted to Arianism. Arianism is the 4th century heresy that teaches that Jesus Christ is not divine. And what did Muhammad say? He said that he came to destroy all those who believe that God is begotten and he begets, that God has a son, and that the son is divine. Muhammad came to destroy this belief. In fact, he even came to destroy the veneration of the Virgin Mary. That's why in the Quran it says that when Isa, or Jesus, ascended up to heaven and met with Allah, Allah said, "O Isa, did I tell you, did you command your followers to worship your mother Mary?" And Isa said, No, Lord forbid, I never did such a thing. So Muhammad even went against the veneration of the Virgin Mary. He went against also the worship of Jesus Christ as the Son of God and as divine. So Islam came to destroy us, Christians. He came to destroy Christianity. And so here I am, a Christian, and I'm sitting here saying, I'm going to defend my faith against these barbarians, these savages who want to kill Christians and destroy Christianity. And Eric Allen Bell comes over and says that he has a problem with that.
And then he paints us in a very general brush without any quotes. He just says, these guys this, these guys that, these guys want to do this, these guys are fringe, they're fanatic, blah, 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 blah. Well, let me remind him and remind you that what we believe in was exactly what the United States believed in, until of recent, of course, that secularism took a hold of this country and people don't believe in fighting homosexuality and all that stuff, but it's not the topic of the night. However, just to brush us off like that and say, these guys want to kill witches, like that, this doesn't make any sense. You have to
That's
give
true. That's why.
You have to give quotes.
We can have the competition.
Where's the quote? What quotes do you
May
have against us?
What you gentlemen are saying?
Well, you just
I
generally.
feel that you're slightly mischaracterizing what I'm saying. I post things on my own Facebook page about Christians being persecuted. I have no problem with you being Christian and supporting your faith.
Yes, you do.
And being
Yes, you
concerned
do.
about the very real fact that Islam is targeting, among other things, Christianity, certainly Judaism, first and foremost,
To read.
atheists, Hindus. That's very real. What I object to is that you're using that to bring people to Shoebat ministry, and then you're preaching hate. You're preaching that we should, for example, execute homosexuals.
What's the
we
quote?
should
Give us the quote.
No.
Christian law worldwide, and force people to it. I'm not even sure I would call that Christianity. It's certainly out of step with mainstream Christianity. It's a fringe Christian hate group that you guys are running. Let me just ask you an honest question. Just between us guys, you guys don't actually believe this bullshit, right?
Excuse me. If since you've cussed, I think it's also okay for us to share some language as well. If anyone is full of shit, it's you, Eric Allen Bell, because obviously you don't know anything about Christianity. You wouldn't know Christianity if Jesus Christ himself met with you. You wouldn't even know Christianity.
But how do you know
Shh, be quiet. Let me finish. You've insulted me. You've used warring words now. If you ever read about Christianity, you would know that you're full of crap. Because in the New Testament and in the Old Testament, execution for homosexuals, for homosexuality, is taught and permissible only by a government, by a state, or by people who are called by God.
Which you forgot to mention.
In the book of Genesis, it says that God himself destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. And God appears as a man. He is the Son of God in Christian theology. You read Thomas Aquinas, you read Gregory, you read Justine Martyr, all of the most some of the most formidable, prominent Christian scholars in Christian history. And also when you read in the book of Romans, it states that the sword that is held by the ruler, not in vain, to put the wicked to death. And St. Peter himself says that the government is established by God to punish the wicked and to reward the just. And in 1 Timothy chapter 2, it says that the law is not made for the just, but for the unjust, for blasphemers, for murderers, for kidnappers, for people who steal people to sell them into slavery, and for homosexuals. So don't come in here telling me that I don't know anything about Christianity. You don't know anything about Christianity, and it's obvious to me that you've never really spoken to a real Christian.
Really?
I don't think, no, obviously you haven't, because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And also, you sit here talking about, we got to keep counter jihad, secular, and all this crap. Let me ask you some questions.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Don Juan of Austria? Have you ever heard of Don Juan of Austria?
I'm sorry, what?
Have you ever heard of Don Juan of Austria?
Don Juan of Austria.
Yes.
I can't say that I
He
know.
was a man who defeated the Muslims with the sword in the Battle of Lepanto. Read about it. 1565 battle. Defended Europe from being invaded. He was a Catholic. He believed in the Catholic faith. Unlike you, he believed in the Catholic faith. And if you lived in those times and you went, hey, Juan, John, don't bring up Christianity. You're a hate group, John. You shouldn't talk about these things. We got to keep it secular. He'd smack you across the face and throw you in the water to be fish food. Have you ever heard of Sancho Garces, Spanish warrior who fought on the Reconquista? Maybe you should read about that as well. Have you ever heard of
So if
Pope
I'm
Urban?
understanding your-
Pope Urban
if I'm
II
understanding your argument
was a
correctly,
Catholic pope. You don't know what the hell you're talking
The
about.
real counter jihad.
The real counter jihad
We're
is
in a
the Catholic
conversation
faith.
where we don't put each other down. Hold on.
Excuse me, who was insulting who? Who was insulting? I was respectful for you until you started insulting my religion, insulting my faith. So here, so go ahead, talk.
Go ahead, bark.
Go ahead, bark.
Please correct me if I'm wrong here. What you're saying is, when I'm saying that I object to something for... Hold on a second. Please give like, this is a bad time.
Feedback.
Yeah.
Take down the volume of that.
No, it's not. It's the line itself.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Can you guys call us back on the same number?
Yeah, we'll give you a call back in a few seconds.
Thank you.
Okay, can you guys hear us? Can you hear us?
We can hear you. Let's just make sure that we don't have any echo. I think we're fine, right? It sounds good. Yes.
All right, we're good then.
Let's continue, please. I was going to respond to something Theodore said, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
I think you're mischaracterizing my position. I am not demanding that you become secular or that you hide your faith or not be Christian. That's absurd. What I'm suggesting is your brand of Christianity that calls for the execution of homosexuals, as an example, or a one-world legal system of forced Christianity, strikes me as extreme.
Forced?
As an extremist group, that you're extremists. And so much of this really resembles Islam. You know, if you come to an Islamic country, and you know this, Walid, and you're unwilling to accept Islam, you have to pay the jizya, the non-Muslim tax. Theodore was on YouTube basically saying the same thing about Christianity. So much of what you're saying really is essentially, it's Christian jihad. It's essentially Islam, but you slap the name Christianity on it.
Yes.
Would you call then Lord Allenby, who fought the Ottoman Empire, pursuing Christian jihad when he defeated the Ottoman Empire? Perhaps
I'm not on the radio with that person right now. I'm talking to you.
Well, yes, but you said that you equated Christian defense against Islam. By the way, it's not only terrorism. Christians have been combating Islam since the inception of Islam, 600s, when they invaded Syria, and after that, Egypt, and after that, Constantinople, and all these countries.
I think purposefully changing the subject. I have no issue with Christians defending themselves against Islam. I don't know how much more clear I can be.
That's what we're talking about.
But you say that we're misinterpreting you, and that you are saying that you're simply against our brand of Christianity. And what I'm saying is that our brand of Christianity, it's not our brand, it's actually the Catholic faith, regardless of how we Catholics have become today or how much modernism has infiltrated the Catholic Church. What we preach, what we teach, or what I believe, what I subscribe to, what I express, is in accordance to true Catholic doctrine. And everything I say can be found in the Catholic teachings, be it in St. Thomas Aquinas, be it in Robert Bellarmino, be it in, you look at some great writings like Isidore of Sevilla, St. Augustine, all of these great writers of the Catholic faith, they agree with what I'm saying. Now you don't like the fact that I'm saying that homosexuals should be put to death. Listen.
No, I don't.
Of course you don't. Homosexuality is disgusting. It is evil. It is demonic, and it is essentially, as St. Robert Bellarmino said, homosexuality is a declaration of war against the natural order. Eric, I know very well that you came from a woman. I know very well that you are here as a product of the conjugal union between man and woman. You are not here as a result of two men sodomizing each other. No civilization is ever born from homosexuality. All civilization is born as a result of a man and a woman having sex, the conjugal union between man and women. And homosexuality says, oh, no, that's not true. Oh, no, Two men can get married. Oh, two men can have a baby. Oh, it's no different than a man and a woman. That's a load of garbage. Homosexuality is evil.
That two men can have a baby.
It is evil. It is demonic.
What did she say?
They're saying this crap all the time. They say, oh, we can have a baby by I forgot the name. But basically, it's like a turkey baster baby. They hire a woman. They get her pregnant with some sperm, and they say, oh, that's our child, and they give the child to the two men as though it's the same thing. Well, it's disgusting and it's diabolical. And so
everything you're saying is true. I do disagree, but for the sake of argument, let's assume everything you're saying is true. That it's horrible, it's disgusting, and that there's a whole agenda around it. Is that a reason to execute all of these people?
Yes, I believe so. Because they have made a declaration of war against that which brings birth to humankind. See, people are so sick.
Better than Islam.
Do you know? I find it so amazing. We have homosexual activists in the Western world who are saying some of the most diabolical things that you can imagine. The absolutely demonic, tyrannical, despotic things. And you have nothing better to do than attack us. Let me give you some examples. How come you guys never said anything about, let's say, Jim McKnight, who is a homosexual activist, who says that homosexuals are superior to non-homosexuals? And he believes that there is a homosexual gene and that people are genetically superior because they have this gene. None of you guys would ever mention this kind of stuff. What about Rusem, who is another pro-sodomite writer, who says that the existence and persistence of homosexuality is a function of superior heterozygote fitness, Nazistic, eugenist ways of talking. Or let's see, there was an actress, Lisa Kudrow. She says homosexuals are superior beings.
That's actually a very valid question, Theodore. The reason why I'm not on the radio arguing with any of those people is I feel very strongly that the way to combat the Islamic agenda is that we live in a media-driven world and that the information age can potentially kill Islam. And when I see that I
You're changing the subject, yeah.
associated with people who are running a Christian hate organization, it's clear to me that
Do you hate what this guy said?
And so do you hate what these people say, though? Do you?
Let me finish. I'll let you finish.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Unless you criticize Islam, we're perceived to be expressing hate. So we always have an uphill battle. Once we get past that, then we're judged by the company we keep. And so we're perceived to be connected to these right-wing, rapture-ready, end-times people. Walid Shoebat is a very prominent person in what is called, by some people, the counter-jihad movement. By the opposition, they call it the Islamophobia movement. So I don't want to be associated with that.
We don't care.
And that's
We don't
why
care. It's not our
I
problem.
guys is because I really feel that you're actually advancing the Islamic agenda.
Okay.
You're advancing the Islamic agenda because you're so Looney Tunes that you're hurting us. You're discrediting the rest of us who really are deeply concerned about human rights and
Human rights.
the threat that Islam poses to human rights.
What about that sodomite Michael Savage saying that he would put enforced population control? And I hear none of you guys say that. Yet you have no problem.
Wonderful idea.
Yeah, of course, because you're a Nazi. Now,
You think your version of Christianity, how do you think that's so different from Islam?
Hold on. She's asking a question. How do you think the form of Christianity is different from the form of Islam? Ma'am, the Islamic world declared thousands of battles against Christians. Okay? They began to outroot Christians from the beginning. And they began to invade Christian lands. Christians didn't go invading Muslim lands. So you compare Christians with Muslims. This is what you're doing. You're saying that the Christian warfare or the Christian counter-jihad in a physical warfare is very similar to Islam because it has warfare. This is like saying Americans fighting Nazism with warfare is similar to Nazism's warfare.
No, I'm talking about the ideology.
Yeah, but what about the ideology of Islam? Look, You can try to fight the ideology of Islam all you want. It's an issue of
Seems like the law you want
it's
to
not.
impose is very similar to
It's
No, actually, it's not.
We're not talking about just what you guys are doing, just countering jihad on the media. Christianity or the West didn't defeat Islamdom by countering them on the media alone. They defeated Islamdom through.
media is new.
The media is new. Well, are you kidding me? There was media from the beginning of the inception of the printing press.
Books, talk, word.
England had media against
Printing
Catholics,
press.
printing presses against Spain. You know, there was media. I could show you media warfare, but
Fairly recent.
There was
no, it's not fairly recent. Media warfare has been going on since the printing press.
St. John of Damascus wrote books against Islam.
It's only been recently that people are getting onto Facebook on their phones.
So what you're saying is that we need to evolve ourselves in accordance to the media?
My very anti-Islamic Facebook page reached 9.2 million people.
And our website reached how many millions? How many millions did Shoebat.com reach?
We don't need to get in a pissing contest. I think you probably reach more people than I do. My point is,
So what's your point?
media matters. Media is how we change minds. More than swords, I think. And I'm not opposed to violence or warfare when it's appropriate, but in this country, we seem to change minds through media. It works. Social media definitely changes minds. I think that we can really succeed in shifting how Islam is perceived by using media. It doesn't mean you can't be Christian and you have to be secular.
But I have to be pro-homosexual.
Media is our best bet, but when people like me get associated with people like Walid, it sort of...
So let's see what you want here. What you want here
We never knew
is,
whose word.
embodies my message.
what you want here is to silence the Christians like us, and only your form of counter jihad, which is only media, by the way, your only form of counter jihad, just speaking on Islam, besides that evil is evil. I mean, evil is evil. What Theodore quoted you was absolute Nazistic superiority complex.
Homosexual. So in other words, okay, go ahead.
Evil.
You wanna say something?
Nazism.
No, to answer your question, no, I don't think only my form works. There are people who are far more effective than I am.
No, but you're avoiding you're avoiding what I'm saying.
Strengths and weaknesses. I've never written a book.
You're avoiding what I'm saying.
I write articles and I use social media. That's my thing. Robert Spencer writes entire books. Pamela Geller goes on to CNN. Everybody does what they can.
Yes, but Pamela Geller says the LGBT is the best partner. Pamela Geller says LGBT has been the best partner in countering
Yes,
jihad.
and she also says
Do you
that-
believe that the LGBT is the best counter jihad movement?
Well, she says a lot of screwy things.
Do you believe that?
Listen, I hope you don't think I'm saying I agree with everything.
Well, I didn't ask if you agree. Do you agree with what she said?
I'm just saying we all have different strengths. We all have different weaknesses.
All right, we can do this the easy way.
The only right way.
All right, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Do you agree that Pamela Geller, when she says the LGBT movement is one of the best counter jihad, she basically says that? Do you agree? Yes or no?
I'm not aware of her saying that, but if she did, I think that's a rather ridiculous thing to say.
Why is it ridiculous? Why is the LGBT not counter jihad?
Well, you're talking about the left, and the left, they're so hypocritical. They say we're all about human rights, and yet they won't stand up against the worst human rights nightmare in history, which is Islam, which we probably agree on.
So why is the LGBT left? Why is the LGBT left, not right?
Because they feel like that's where they can take refuge. That's where they're not going to be judged. Those are the people who are going to be compassionate to them.
All right, then answer me this question. Why was the Nazis standing by the Muslims?
Because they have the same agenda.
No, they're,
Why is
entirely.
all the evil agenda together, holding hand in hand, united? And what are they united against? What was Hitler united against? He was united against the Judeo-Christian ethics. He was united against the Old Testament. He was united against the Jews. In fact...
No, don't slip that in there. Don't say, it's a Judeo-Christian
yeah, he was.
And the people who were carrying out Hitler's work were either Catholic
That's a load of crap.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
That's a load of garbage.
Anti-Semitism
That's-
is mostly the result of Christians.
See how fast
see how fast. So here's an interesting concept.
Imaginary friend Jesus.
Yeah, please. Here's an interesting concept. Hitler, the Muslims.
Belong to something as ugly as the Catholic Church.
You know, hold on. Let me talk. I let you spout your bull crap.
I think I should just jump.
I let you spout your crap. Let me finish now. Pope Pius XII was an individual. He rescued more Jews than any other individual during the Holocaust. And if you think that I'm wrong in saying that, well, you're gonna have to contend against Rabbi David Dahlin. You're gonna have to contend against Pinchas Lapid,
Golda
Herbert
Meir.
Wolf, Golda Meir, Albert Einstein, Ronald A. Richlack, Joseph L. Litchin. You're gonna have to contend against all of these historians who have recounted and have documented that the Catholic Church was responsible for rescuing around 800,000 Jews. Now, while the Muslims were working with the social Darwinists, because the Nazis were social Darwinists, go read the writings of Alfred Rosenberg, who was the head ideologue for Nazi ideology. Go read his works. What was he? Pro-Protestant, Lutheran, pro-Cathar, Gnostic, Albigensian, and he was also a pagan. And he also believed in the occult, and he hated the Catholic Church and the Old Testament, a very anti-Catholic sentiment, a very Albigensian sentiment. And Hitler was also a vegetarian. And he was also a social Darwinist.
Not a vegetarian.
Yes, so, if you look at the documentation, and I can read some of it for you if you would like, if you want to be educated. I think I also would like to educate the audience.
Questions about, you said I don't understand Christianity. I'd like to, if I could ask.
You don't understand Christianity.
You don't
but-
understand Nazism.
But now you don't understand history. You were sitting there talking about how the Catholic Church was behind Hitler, and I'm trying to educate you, Eric, on why you are mistaken in saying that, and now you're disrupting me, and now you want to change the subject back to something else.
No, I don't want to change the subject.
I can read to you, Pinchas Lapid.
Let's come back to that.
Let's
No,
go back.
You brought the issue. You accused the church of being Nazis.
You accuse the Catholic Church of being pro-Nazi. Let's finish this.
This is radio. We just have to take a break. We can actually come back to that subject.
All right.
That's fine. Yeah. Do you guys mind just staying on for a few minutes? We're going to play some commercials, and then we're going to come back in a couple. We'll come back to the issue you want to talk about. Just stay there.
That's right, we're back. It's me, Susan, and our wonderful station owner, Sam. And Sam, wait, just say goodbye to everybody first.
Yes, I'm saying goodbye to everybody. And there's going to be somebody taking my seat and just actually sitting here helping moderate this wonderful, wonderful open conversation, I think, that is amazing. And that's what radio is about, you know. And we're giving everybody forum here to say whatever the hell they want, and there you are. So, Susan, why don't you go ahead and reintroduce everybody in the game here so people that just joined us will know what's going on. We'll start with Eric, obviously.
Okay. And this is what America's about, open debate. Eric Allen Bell is my friend. He is, well, for lack of a better word, a counter-jihadist. He's somebody that came from the left and soon saw the light and is very dedicated to teaching and warning about the issues with Islam, the true danger of Islam, particularly now that we're looking at inviting a whole lot of migrants into this country. Walid Shoebat and Theodore Shoebat are the heads of the Shoebat ministries, and they have a different take on how to fight Islam. And I won't be misquoting you, and if I am, please let me know. If I say that you believe that the only way to fight Islamic extremism is through Christianity, and if you try to do it in a secular way, you will fail. Am I correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So, Theodore, I'm sorry, you wanted to finish.
Yeah, I wanted to finish. Apparently you need some schooling on Adolf Hitler. You don't even know he was vegetarian. You don't even know that
I just got from the Residence album.
I was being sarcastic.
Oh.
I didn't know if you wanted to execute
All right, no problem, no problem. But Hitler, you said he was a Christian, basically. He was Catholic, whatever.
No,
Well,
I did not say that. I said the people who carried out his orders, and this is a fact, a verifiable fact, were primarily Protestant and Catholic. Whether or not he was religious or part of the occult or an atheist seems to be
I
a
see.
matter of debate.
I see. So now you want to blame Nazism on the soldiers or whatever, on everybody except
I didn't blame Nazism on
let's read this
any
quote.
religion. I was just making a
Nazism, my friend Adolf Hitler himself said. He says that why didn't we have the religion of the Japanese, who regard sacrifice for the fatherland as the highest good? The Mohammedan religion, too, would have been more compatible to us than Christianity. And when you talk about that, the people who carried out all these things were Christians, that's a lot of baloney. The churches that
I would encourage
you
anyone who's
interrupting me
listening
again.
to do their own research about the
Okay.
makeup of the people who are carrying out his orders, what their religious orientation was. That's pretty well documented.
That doesn't mean
The
Jack- that doesn't mean
churches, the
Jack.
churches that you're talking about, did not hold the Bible, did not hold the Old Testament. They held Mein Kampf, they held the swastika. So to say because that they were previously Christian, whatever, this is rubbish because you can't see the.
What I was saying is that anti-Semitism is primarily caused by historically by Christianity, by the belief.
That's a-
That's
That's a
another
load of crap. That's a load of crap. Have you ever heard of?
He's
Yeah.
talking. Okay,
Have
go
you
ahead.
ever heard of a guy named Bishop Chrysostomos? Have you ever heard of a guy named Bishop Chrysostomos?
Of course not.
No, I can't say that.
Bishop Chrysostomos was involved in a rescue mission that was being conducted by the Eastern Orthodox Church that rescued 90,000 Jews from the Holocaust. Now, I don't know how many atheists
There were
rescued.
many Christians
Now-
who rescued
Now you're disrupting me. You're disrupting me now. The spiritual leader, he was the spiritual leader of the Greek island of Zakynthos, and the Nazis came to him while he was the bishop there in 1943, and they told him, "Give us a list of all the names of the Jews in your area." He gave them a list, and when the Germans opened up the piece of paper, it was his name, and he says, "You can kill me instead." He sacrificed himself for the Jewish people. Now, you never hear about these stories. You always hear about, the church is anti-Semitic. The Christians have supported Hitler. The Pope worked with Hitler. You don't even read real history.
There's more Christians that died in the ovens with the Jews, who chose to die with the Jews, than you could ever dream of secularists. Name me the secularist. Name me the secularist who, for the sake of secularism, you're talking. Name me the secularist for the sake of secularism who decided to die in the oven for the Jews. It was all Christians who decided to die in the oven for Jews. It was, many priests. There was more Christians dying in the ovens than anybody else. So I don't know what you're talking about. Name me a secularist who thinks like you, Alan Bell, who decided to say, you know what, I'm counter Nazism. I want to die with the Jews in the ovens. Name me that. Name me one name.
Twisting what I said and changing the subject.
Well,
We're not changing the subject.
we're not changing the subject.
We're simply resuming what we were talking before the commercial break.
Of course, hundreds of years, one of the net results was those ovens. I don't want to focus on, just what happened on the day, the people going in the
Why not?
or even
Why do you want to ignore what the Pope did? What's wrong with
century. I'm talking about over hundreds and hundreds of years.
hundreds and hundreds of years?
Bullying the Jews pretty badly because they believe that they killed their imaginary friend Jesus.
Okay, but I don't see the point really in blaming Christians for everything. I would say the biggest source of anti-Semitism today
Hundreds and hundreds
would
of
be
years.
Islam.
Today it's Islam.
But unfortunately, the brand of Christianity that you two men represent resembles Islam entirely. And so many people
let me
that argue
explain.
with me and say, why are you complaining about Islam? Christians are just as bad. And I say, no, but you prove me wrong.
What about secular Muslims? What about secular Muslims who denounce jihad and Islamism? What about them? Do you support them?
I have no problem
Why
with
don't
that,
you
but I don't
answer
Okay. Hold on. You said you have no problem. Let me understand you clearly. You have no problem with, let's say, 50% of Egyptians who have a problem with the Muslim Brotherhood.
Why aren't you answering her concern?
Well, I am. I mean, she says she has no problem with secular Muslims. So I'm trying to understand.
No, that's not what she said. She said that people say Christianity is just as bad as Islam. She sticks up for Christianity and says that's not true.
Well, I agree with her.
Kind of proving her wrong.
Okay, let me
Can you
explain something.
respond to that without taking us to Egypt?
No, I agree with her. She says that Christianity is not to be blamed for everything under the sun, and we agree. But I wanted to know, since it's counter jihad, there are secular Muslims who counter jihad. Now, your position on secular Islam Muslims who are anti-Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt and other countries, they don't want anything to do with Al-Qaeda. They don't want anything to do with this Islamist movement. What is your position on them?
Bless them.
Bless them. Okay.
I have a hard time with it though, because how can you still belong to a faith with the Prophet as your leader, as your person to emulate, and be secular?
Okay. Now, it shows how much ignorant you are. Here's why. Show me in Egypt, amongst the secular Muslims who are counter-jihad, who love Israel and the Jews. You won't find any. You won't find a single one, maybe, or two. You don't find secular Muslims, even in Syria. We defend Bashar al-Assad. We don't like the Islamist movement in Syria, but you can't say Syrians, the majority.
One in Canada, Terafata.
Oh, I see. One in Canada. But besides the one in Canada, how many in Egypt, percentage-wise, would you say loves Jews?
I don't know.
I don't think that there's a lot of love for Jews in the Islamic world.
Okay. Thank you very much. So there's your secular Islam. You just said, God bless the secular Muslims.
I think there's more hatred for Jews today than there was during the Holocaust, and it's coming from Islam, and we should be very, very concerned about that. On that issue, we probably agree.
Yes, but she said, God bless the secular Muslims, even though they hate Jews.
They're not hurting Jews.
They hate Jews. Oh, yeah. Oh, are you kidding me? Would you go to Egypt? Egypt right now is under Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Would you go to Cairo? Would you go to Cairo? You're under Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, secular government right now. Would you go to Cairo dressed up in a kippah on your head, skull cap? Would you do that?
No,
Why not?
because that wouldn't
Same reason two men wouldn't walk down the street holding hands in Cairo.
Thank you very much. You just proved that you don't know anything about either Islam or secular Islam. Because secular Islam is not as what you think it is. Because you said, God bless them immediately. As long as they don't kill Americans, God bless them. But they'll kill Jews. Oh, wait a minute here. I didn't know that. Well, why don't you know that? How come Americans don't know that?
I love what Sisi is doing.
He hates Jews, though?
It's a step in the right direction.
Oh, I see. So it's a step in the right direction. So long, it's okay to hate Jews, but it's a step in the right direction.
As long as they're not killing them, it's a step in the right direction.
Excuse me, I didn't get that. What's the step in the right direction?
As long as they're not killing them, it's a step in the right direction. Eventually, maybe they'll love them.
Oh, you should take a trip to Tahrir Square then. They will rape you. Secular Muslims, fundamentalist Muslims, it matters nothing. They will rape you. There's many cases raping women in Tahrir Square. You've seen that during the Arab Spring. And the hatred of Jews is phenomenal among secular Muslims. So no, I wouldn't say God bless them. This is the biggest dilemma. And this is the biggest dilemma in the US. They always say radical Islam, radical Islam, radical Islam. There's only two questions here. Is Islam inceptionally radical? Or has Islam been hijacked and there are an infringed group called radical Muslims who hijacked it?
Islam's radical. I think we can all agree on this. The article that I named you in that started all this is called The Radical Truth About Moderate Islam. I think the myth of radical Islam is ridiculous. Islam is radical to the core. I do think you are taking us off the subject of what we came to debate on. We agree on that. You had said I was ignorant about Christianity, and I wanted to ask you a question about Christianity. Would that be okay?
No, I don't think you got my point. My point is, who do you want to hold hands with to fight Islam? Who do you want to hold hands with? The LGBT, as Pamela Geller says, apparently you said no. The secular Muslims, as she said, apparently no. Who's left? Tell me, who's left to hold hands with to fight radical Islam or Islam itself? Whichever one you want. Who do you want to hold hands with?
Reasonable people.
Reasonable people.
You asked me to name names of
No, I'm not asking names. Which group? Which group in the world do you want to hold hands with?
Any reasonable, rational person who wants to fight the human rights nightmare called Islam.
Well, who is it? I gave you secular Islam. You said, oh, well, they're bad too. They hate Jews. Okay, we agreed to that. I said the LGBT, as Pamela Geller says. Well, you said, I don't think so. They're leftist. We agreed to that.
If I met gay people who wanted to speak out against Islam, of course.
They can speak all they want, but is that the group who you want to hold hands with to fight radical Islam? Hasn't been historically proven accurate that Christians are the only ones left who you have to hold hands with to fight radical Islam or Islam. Do you have anybody else besides Christians?
Anybody who's reasonable. It doesn't matter if they're gay
I think we keep answering your question. Any reasonable person who wants to fight Islam for the right reasons, because it's a human rights nightmare, and in the nuclear age it threatens our existence on this planet.
Who?
I just answered your question.
Have you ever heard of a guy named Tariq Musa?
You guys are sort of hijacking the conversation.
No, we're not. No, you said that you would work with anybody who's reasonable. Have you ever heard of a guy named Tariq Musa?
I haven't heard of him, so I can't say.
Okay, Tariq Musa is an ex-Muslim. He was born Muslim from Pakistani. He lives in South Africa, and now he is atheist. So he's an atheist, and he doesn't like Islam. In fact, he doesn't like any religion. He hates all religion.
Mm-hmm.
And you may think, well, that's a reasonable person, right? Because he hates Islam, and he's a reasonable guy. Tariq Musa believes in the legalization of voluntary cannibalism. So here's a guy who's against Islam, right? Okay, we can work with him. He's against Islam, ex-Muslim, atheist, and all that. But guess what? He's a social Darwinist. Let me finish. He's a social Darwinist, and he believes in legalizing voluntary cannibalism.
I think you're afraid of the questions I'm going to ask.
No, I'm not afraid of anything.
No, we'll get to your questions. Don't worry.
My whole point is that, see, you guys are saying that we should, or as people should disassociate themselves from us. Listen, I really don't give a crap who disassociates themselves from us. Because when I started writing articles and doing videos and debates and exposing evil, I came to do one thing, and that is to fight evil. The Bible says that Jesus came to destroy all the works of the devil. That is what I'm here to do. I'm here to fight against evil. I am counter evil. I am counter evil.
He says we're inciting violence.
Listen, I am for fighting and destroying evil. I never signed up for counter jihad and the secularist nonsense, and I never signed an agreement. I didn't know there was such a thing as, well, he's going to ruin the counter jihad movement because he's in this Christianity stuff and all that stuff. I never signed a memo. I didn't know there was an instruction booklet that I had to read and follow that. Oh, I can't bring up Christian militancy.
Exactly. Are you on psych meds?
Excuse me?
Are you on psych meds?
I am right now.
So if you can't really deal with the issues, apparently all the names were given you.
Yeah,
all the samples were given you. All the historic references were given you, and you're asked, and you didn't know any of that stuff. It seems that you're high on dope.
Listen, are you high off LSD? Are you high off shrooms right now? Are you high off Hinduism?
I mean, what kind of a response? What kind of a remark is that?
I've given you names. I've given you references.
My Facebook friend.
I have given you names. I have given you references. I've given you scriptural verses, and all you can do is insult me, which means that you are vacuous of knowledge. No, because you said that I am not part of mainstream Christianity, or I'm a fringe group, and I'm giving you the scripture verses to show that what I am saying is in accordance to Christianity.
Can we have just a little bit of civility?
Can we have a little bit of civility?
And it says we're high on dope.
I mean, you're saying we're high off meds, and you start insulting Jesus.
I asked you if you're on any
And
why would you ask such a stupid question? Are you on psychiatric medication? Why would you ask such a stupid question?
It's a relevant question to me when I watch a video of a guy saying women shouldn't vote.
Women shouldn't vote. Do you know who agrees with me? Thomas Jefferson agrees with me. Was he on psych meds? Hey, is Thomas Jefferson on psych meds? Because he also agrees with me. John Adams agrees with me. The Founding Fathers agree with me on women's right to vote. So if you want to argue with me on that, argue with Thomas
Why are we
Jefferson.
switching from Islam to
And now we're talking about the women's suffrage movement. So which one do you want to talk about?
You guys, please. You're all over the map here. You really haven't given me a chance to talk.
Let him talk.
Walid, at the top of the conversation, you had made the statement that I'm ignorant about Christianity. I wanted to ask you a theological question about Christianity, if that was okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine, but I don't have to answer it. Ted could answer it too if he wants. Go ahead.
Either of you could answer it. So if Mary and Joseph were married, but Jesus was a virgin birth, why had they not had sex yet? And what kind of example is your God setting?
Now we're
adultery with another man's
now we're talking about Christianity. I thought we were talking about counter jihad. Now we're talking about Christian theological questions. Apparently, no. I'm gonna answer your question. You accused us of being part of a fringe group, and I simply quoted you church fathers. I referenced you church fathers: Aquinas, Bellarmine, Augustine. I gave you Francisco Vittoria. Great Christian writers to show you that I am not, that what I teach is in accordance to Christianity.
The whole Orthodox
Now,
Russia.
even the entire, please, I mean, this guy never shuts up. He never shuts up.
How come you're not answering my question?
I'm going to answer your question. So, this guy never shuts up. I can't believe
He wants to talk
it.
about Mary and
I
Joseph.
can't believe he wants to talk about Mary and Joseph. So that's the reason why I talked about the Bible and I said you're ignorant of Christianity. Now to your question. Apparently, you do not know anything about the hypostatic union. The divinity, okay, in accordance to Christian theology, I'm going to give you an education here. In accordance to Christian theology, when God first made Adam and Eve, they were created for the purpose of partaking in the glory of God, and also to partake in the goodness of God and to be one with God in perpetual contemplation in God. This is what St. John of Damascus teaches in his book on the Orthodox faith, which is one of the foundational texts on Christianity. And so there was something in Christianity called the hypostatic union, which is that because humanity fell, that humanity lost its likeness to God. It lost its image, because in the scripture it says that God was made in the image and the likeness of God. Jesus Christ is the image of the Father. This is what the scripture says, that he is the visible image of the invisible Father. So, by Mary being conceived as a virgin, being conceived of the Messiah, for the Messiah, and being the mother of Jesus Christ, she is also the mother of God. And in her womb, the divinity and humanity become one. So because humanity and divinity become one, God would not choose a sinner or someone who has had sex. It has to be a pure virgin, because the divinity and humanity was going to be united in her womb, and such a profound, sublime occurrence had to have been with someone very, very special. So if I were you, I would go do I would get an education on, or look up the hypostatic union, and read up on that. Read about the virgin birth in accordance to St. John of Damascus. And the reason why I said you don't really know anything about Christianity is because you said that we're part of a fringe group or whatever. We're not part of mainstream Christianity or whatever you meant.
Well, you're out of step with mainstream Christianity.
And no, I'm not, because if you read the scriptures and the church fathers, what I say is in accordance to them, what they teach.
But again, you said that we are an infringed group, which is false, by the way. Let me prove you false. Would you say that the entire Orthodox Church in Russia, okay? Remember, the Russians are fighting ISIS, okay? They're fighting ISIS in Syria, okay? Many Russian soldiers are fighting ISIS in Syria, and all these people, millions of them, believe exactly what we believe. In fact, in Russia, they combat homosexuality the same way we do. What you're trying to say is this. I'm going to let you say something, but here's my problem. What you're trying to say is this. Here's what I'm accusing you of. Let me finish. I'll let you answer the question. What you're saying, let me finish a short sentence for Pete's sake. You're talking. Let me finish my sentence.
Eric.
You can't be talking over me until I finish. let me finish. Okay, first question.
It's hate.
My gosh.
Eric Allen Bell.
Answer the question. There's counter-examination here, okay? You counter-examine me, I'm going to counter-examine you, okay? Now, Russia, okay, the Orthodox, not only Russia, the Slavs, Serbia, many nations here, agree very much with what we do regarding the LGBT, regarding fighting Islam. So they are also counter-jihadists, my friend. What you're trying to say is this. What you try to say is that only the method of the Americans should be used, and that is the secular method of the Americans, should be used to counter jihad or counter LGBT, that is. And anybody else who is not within the brand of the American way is a small fringe group. That's what I'm hearing you say.
People that are hateful, that are less evolved. There are very primitive people out there that do very primitive things and very cruel things to other people. They're not justified in doing that by using scripture.
You're not answering my question.
It's still cruelty.
Is the entire nation of Russia a
Serbia,
fringe group?
Slav.
Is Serbia a fringe group? Is the Serbian Orthodox Church fringe? Is the Georgian Orthodox Church fringe? Is the Macedonian Church Orthodox Church fringe?
Yes or no?
All these Christians beating up sodomites in the streets, are they also fringe? Who's fringe?
Yeah, Christians beating up what you're calling sodomites in the street, that's inhumane. That's just
Okay, but that's your opinion.
And it's unfortunate if it isn't fringe. If there are a lot of people doing this, that is very unfortunate.
All right, let me ask you this then. Fine, then let me ask you this. Would you then think that if a bunch of Americans got really ticked off at Muslim Brotherhood making demonstrations in their street, and expressing that they want America to become Muslim and all these things, and a bunch of Americans got really pissed off, carried American flags, and went there and had a fight with them, would you say these Americans were wrong?
I would say we have a First Amendment to have order. We live under laws. Order.
No, I got you.
And as soon as, that's society, right? We all agree not to go crazy.
No, I got you.
We have a certain amount of order. And in this country, there's supposed to be a way that somebody can say something really nutty that we don't like, but we don't have to go bludgeon them. We can find a way to counter their argument.
All right.
Again, the media seems to be the most effective way to do that.
All right. What is your success rate then in countering, let's say, LGBT? You don't do anything about LGBT, but as far as what is your success rate in countering the Islamist movement and the LGBT movement in America versus, let's say, Russia? What's your success rate? Yes.
Why are you inserting LGBT in there? I have nothing to do. I'm not an LGBT.
You brought up LGBT. You're saying our war against the LGBT is wrong.
I want them to be executed.
Okay, you said our war and our method about the LGBT is wrong. You don't agree with LGBT. Apparently,
For all left-handed people to be executed, I'd object to that too.
Alan, are you homosexual?
Is that a serious question?
Well,
It's a valid question.
It's a valid question. Are you homosexual?
No.
Why
Why
not?
not?
But I don't have to be homosexual.
But why aren't
Why
you
not?
homosexual though?
Other human beings.
Why aren't you homosexual?
Why am I not
Yeah.
homosexual?
Yeah.
I've never really thought about that.
Why not?
I have to get back to you on that one.
But
Why
why aren't
not?
you homosexual? why? Are you that close-minded?
You want my opinion on that? Are you homosexual?
No.
No.
Well, then why aren't you homosexual?
Because we know it's disgusting
Because
and
it's
it's
disgusting.
evil and it's
It's
demonic.
evil.
It's diabolical.
Okay, so it's your own reason. It's not anything in particular. It's just that's how you feel.
How come we answered your question, you didn't answer ours?
What was your question?
Are you
Why
homosexual?
are you not
Why aren't
homosexual?
you homosexual?
Oh, okay.
I wasn't born that way.
Yeah, I believe it's.
I wasn't
genetic,
born that
the
way.
way you're born. I think
That's a load of garbage.
it's the way that you're. I don't think anybody can teach anybody to be a homosexual.
That's a load of garbage. The Spartans did a very good.
If you're not inclined to be that way, it's just like you're born black. You can't make somebody black. That's the way you're born.
Please don't insult black people by equating them to
You're
sodomites.
insulting blacks.
You're insulting black people
I'm not
by
sure,
by equating them.
Black gay people.
So
So why would you say, well, blacks are blacks because they're born blacks? Why wouldn't you say whites are whites because they're born whites?
I can't change it. So you can't change your
So the reason, listen, Eric, you know very well, and everyone in that radio room where all you guys are sitting, none of you guys are homosexual because you know very well that it's not normal.
I saw one on TV.
It's something that's not normal.
You know it's not normal.
It's normal if you're born that way.
You're not. There's no such thing as being born a sodomite. In fact, do you want me to quote to you the gay activist?
Now he's defending LGBT.
Now you're defending LGBT. It's amazing. You're supposed to be counter jihad. But now all of a sudden you're counter Christianity. You go against people like myself. You never go against the sodomite activists who say that homosexuals are superior to non-homosexuals. You never go against Tariq Musa, who supports cannibalism, or Richard Dawkins, who supports cannibalism, or Peter Singer, who supports cannibalism. But you go against us.
Let him finish and count the same way.
For like an elbow after this. I eat meat, but it's animal meat.
Okay.
Richard Dawkins doesn't support cannibalism. You guys make up something.
No, yes he does. I wrote a whole article on this, and I found an interview between Richard Dawkins and Peter Singer where they're saying, oh yeah, I would be totally okay if somebody told his family, yeah, you can go ahead and eat me after I die. That's totally okay. Voluntary cannibalism. This is why I am not associated with people like you. It's amazing. You say, oh, people should not be associated with the Shoebats, or you'll say that you are associated with us because you're counter jihad. It's amazing. It's amazing. Listen, I've never been associated with you, Eric Allen Bell. Never.
You guys are just the embodiment of hate. The reason we're counter jihad is we care about human rights. And the reason why we're opposed
Do you care about
you
rights
guys
of the
are
cannibal?
anti-human rights.
Really?
Do you care?
No.
We don't have to bring up some pope or some. It's just real simple.
No, but you said something
You
stupid.
guys are the embodiment of hate, and you're anti-human rights, and that's all there is to it.
Okay, you said something that's not correct. You said that, oh, Richard Dawkins, you're making things up. You haven't heard of the interview between him and
Peter
Singer,
in which they both support voluntary cannibalism.
It doesn't matter.
Do you support
What do you mean it
cannibalism?
doesn't matter?
Do you support?
Do you support voluntary cannibalism? Do you support voluntary cannibalism?
Yeah. Okay, you got me. Fine. All right, I'm a secret homosexual witch.
No.
Now he's being more sarcastic.
See, now you're being a smartass. Eric, now you're being a smartass.
Being smartass.
Do you support voluntary cannibalism?
Do you support it? Yes?
I can't help it. I was born that way.
Okay, so now we know that you're being sarcastic.
You're being a smartass now.
which
Now,
I will insist.
You don't want to answer the
No,
question.
I will insist. Do you support seriously? Do you support voluntary cannibalism? Do you?
I am a cannibal. You've heard that line. Once you take back, you never go back.
They're having a laugh day over there.
Because you see, the only thing you guys can do is be smartasses. The only thing you guys can do because you don't want to answer the question and you really have no knowledge. Do you support voluntary cannibalism? Simple question.
Of course, I'm a cannibal.
See, there you go. So obviously, I know you don't really want to eat people. So obviously you're full of shit because I just showed you and I showed you there was a video between Richard Dawkins and Peter Singer. They're both supporting voluntary cannibalism. And this is why I do not support secularism. This is why I don't support secularism. Because if we start doing something with just secular position, what happens is that the whole movement gets... The demons are talking.
Homosexuality, cannibalism.
The demons are talking now. Eric, do I have to do an exorcism on you?
Do you believe that?
Now, this... Hey,
Jabber, are you done? Are you done? Are you sure you're done?
are you guys done talking?
If you're going to do an exorcism, I'm all for. I haven't had an exorcism.
Are you guys talking? Are you guys done talking?
Let me stop. That's it. Ignore them. That's it.
Okay, you guys are done talking.
Are you
Okay.
sure are you sure you're done talking?
I would be curious to know if there's demons inside of me.
Are you sure you're done talking? Let me know when you're 100% sure you're done talking.
We're listening. Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, no. You're 100% sure you're done talking and you're going to interrupt?
I'm never 100% sure of anything. And it depends on what
No. I'll wait till
Well,
you're
that's obvious.
I'm going to stay silent until you're 100% sure. You're going to done talking and you're not going to talk over us.
All right, well, if you're going to stay silent, that would give me a chance to talk about a few.
Okay, go ahead, talk.
Walid, in the past, you've been unwilling to be specific about where the money goes for your foundation. saving Christians.
Now we're talking about money.
You said it's to CNN. It's none of their business. Where does that money go?
Well, if you were smart enough, you go to rescuechristians.org and you'll find hundreds of testimonies, people from Pakistan who were saved out of slavery. In fact, in Pakistan, Rescue Christians been at the forefront. And those are registered cases. Those are cases very high, the highest cases globally in Pakistan of Christians who were imprisoned unfairly for blasphemy law has been handled by Rescue Christians. And now you're becoming...
Aren't you transparent about that financially?
It's very transparent. We have all our taxes there. You can talk to Keith Davies. In fact, you should have a debate with Keith Davies.
It's not on your site, like a reputable site.
Well, sure, but you can take a look at rescuechristians.org. Before the case is... Let me finish. Yeah, when the case is finished, it has been documented very, very well.
Is she just pocketing this money?
You can go to Christian... What? Excuse me?
I said, aren't you just pocketing this money, man? I mean, come on.
Do you have any evidence I'm pocketing the money?
No, I'm asking you.
Why would you be asking me this question if you have no evidence of me pocketing the money?
Not being transparent the way other foundations are.
It's very transparent. It's very transparent. Okay, so you can take a look at the most prominent cases in Pakistan, and I can give you the cases, and you can see Rescue Christians are the ones. Now you're interrupting me. You asked me a question, accusatory question, number one, that you try to say that we're pocketing money. Okay, there's no evidence whatsoever of anybody pocketing money. In fact, most of my let me finish. Most of my income comes from book sales. In fact, I don't take any money from the Rescue Christians operations. Rescue Christians is Rescue Christians. And the cases have been proven to the whole world. Okay, you can go to the Christian Post, you can go to the Pakistan Christian Post, and you can see for yourself. Those cases are very well documented. So I don't understand why you're accusing Rescue Christians of pocketing money. You came along, let me finish. I have the dialogue I had with you. Eric, shut your mouth. You talk too much. You came and accused us. You said you're a fraud. I said, excuse me? What evidence do you have on fraud? You couldn't produce any evidence. When I showed you the evidence of the bombing operation I did in Bethlehem, what did you do? You son of a bitch? You shut your mouth. I have the dialogue with you. I said, here is the United Nations records from the United Nations from the year of the bombing, showing that in Manger Square, there was a bomb that exploded in Manger Square. My bomb, my terrorist operation when I was Muslim. Okay? And when I proved it to you and you saw the evidence, you shut your mouth. So I suggest right now you shut your mouth, shut your trap, and stop accusing.
I'm just asking questions. It seems to me that your hatred for Jews, once you converted to Christianity, switched over to hatred for gays.
So now you're changing the subject to sodomites.
You started talking about...
You keep talking... Now listen, when I was talking about sodomites, you accused me of changing the subject. Now you're talking about sodomites. Let me ask you a question, Eric. Have you ever heard of a guy named Golsher? Have you ever heard of a man named Golsher?
No.
Have you ever heard of Golsher? Okay, have you ever heard... Okay. Golsher was the official Susan, I know that you have a stepfather from the Brady Bunch who's a sodomite, okay? So I know this is very sensitive for you, but let me finish. Golsher was the official driver for Shabaz Bhatti, who was a Catholic politician defending the rights of Catholic and other Christians in Pakistan, unlike you over there in LA. And the Taliban assassinated Golsher. They assassinated Shabaz Bhatti. We rescued the driver. And it was an international story, the story of Golsher. And we were the ones who took Golsher from Pakistan and flew him out of that country. So we are countering jihad by saving lives. Not just media, not just information. You can go look up the story of Golsher.
What lives have you saved? Tell me, what lives have you saved? What lives have you saved?
I think that's great what you do. I think rescuing Christians is wonderful.
Then tell your friend to shut his trap. Tell your friend to shut his trap and stop falsely accusing and stop asking questions. Do you pocket the money and all that stuff? He just shut his mouth right now. Okay?
Well, you just
I'll tell you what I'll do to you if I ever see you.
Does rescue...
You want me to tell you on the air what I'll do to you?
Because I don't swing that way, brother.
Well, I know, because you're not a man. You are not a man, okay? You're a piece of dirt. That's all you are. You came in 2012 to talk about counter-jihad. I started in 1994. I was the one who exposed the Obama family. I was the one, even when Pamela Geller and what's his name, Robert Spencer talk about the Ground Zero Mosque, Imam Faisal Abdul Rauf. I was the one who translated from the Arabic language who that man was, and they took my information. I was on Fox News talking about that information. I was the one who exposed many of these cases you never even heard of because you didn't speak a lick of Arabic. I'm the one who rescues Christians. I'm the one who goes there, and she is your friend? You ought to be our friend, not his friend.
There's no question, Walid, that you've done a lot of important work.
Then she should dump you out of the she should dump you as a friend. Why are you this guy's friend? Are you? Is it the Brady Bunch?
Susan Olsen.
Susan Olsen. Why are you friends with the scum?
Who are you referring to?
Susan.
Olsen. Why are you friends with this piece of scum next to who's talking? Why are you friends with this piece of scum who's talking?
I don't think he's scum.
He is scum. He's accusing us of pocketing money, insinuating we're pocketing money. He's insinuated to me. Is that a noble cause, what he's doing? Attacking Christians because they're countering jihad?
Attacking people who advocate attacking other people, yes, I think that's very admirable.
Well, that's your view. No, that's your view. I respect your view.
It's hate speech,
It's hate speech. We listen, Eric.
Outcry over what Russia has done to the gay people. I mean, it's a crime. It truly is.
It's not a crime.
Continue to spout that evil and the rhetoric of that we don't think it's right. We think it's disgusting that they should all be killed. It's just wrong.
Okay, it's just wrong. Okay, I got you. So Russia's wrong, right?
The whole country? I don't think that's what anyone's saying.
Who's fighting ISIS? Who's fighting ISIS? Who is fighting ISIS? You or Russia? Who's fighting ISIS? Who's fighting ISIS?
Well, you're just all over the place.
Who's fighting ISIS?
Russia's fighting ISIS.
Russia is fighting ISIS, and Russia is also beating the Sodomites up.
Well, are you talking about the Russian people or the Russian military?
Both. Russian, because let me tell you something about the Russian military, Serbian military. They don't like faggots.
People are fighting gay people.
They don't like faggots.
Okay, so you think those homosexuals should be in the military?
I didn't say that.
Well, I'm asking you, do you think the homosexuals should be in the military?
I see no problem if somebody wants to fight for their country and they're homosexual. I don't see any reason why.
It's amazing that if somebody goes against faggotry and sodomites and homosexuality, it's hate speech, it's hatred. But when have you people ever talked about the mass rape epidemic that is happening in the military? And it's not man on woman, it's man on man. Sodomites in the American military, in the British military, are raping American soldiers. Look at the reports. Look at the reports that came from the Pentagon. Eric, shut your mouth, please. Hey, dumbbell, shut your mouth. The rates of military sexual trauma among men who served in the military may be as much as 15 times higher than has been previously reported. Listen, hey, I'm giving you crimes against humanity here, and you're laughing. Largely because barriers associated with stigma, etc. And this is, Eric, stop talking. This is not me saying this. This is the American Psychiatric Association. This is the psychological services that have done research in the military. This is RAND Corps, which was hired by the Pentagon. They have done estimates, 57,750 recorded incidences of homosexual rape. And there's even more cases of molestation on U.S. military. So don't give me this garbage that the sodomites are innocent. They are evil, they are wicked. This is...
Do you support this?
Do you support... This is what you support? This is what you support? You support this crap? You support these sodomites raping people?
If what you're saying is true.
It is true.
Wait a minute. What do you mean if?
It's American Psychiatric Association, the Pentagon, RAND Corps, They're all confirming that thousands and thousands of U.S. soldiers have been raped by sodomites.
We're getting close to running out of time, so I want to give us a chance to kind of wrap it up a little bit.
Yeah, wrap it up.
Is there something in closing that you want to say that might make you guys look a little better than you've looked?
Look a little better. I've been schooling you. I've been schooling the whole team of you this entire time. I've been educating all of you. The ones looking like idiots and full of crap are you guys. You can't even tell me anything about the Catholic Church and how they were associated with Nazis. I refuted that. And I'm showing you the crimes against humanity that the sodomites are doing. And this is what I'm going to say to you in closing. You say that you are associated with us somehow because of the counter-jihadism. We were never associated with you. When I joined this movement, I came to fight evil, not to be a part of some group of Looney Tunes called counter-jihad. I'm here to fight evil. And the problem with having a secular position is that it becomes inundated with sodomites and with fat slobs like yourselves.
If you want to fight evil, go hang yourself.
Excuse me? Now you're supporting suicide? So now you have confirmed to me how much of a wicked son of a bitch you are by supporting suicide. This is the reason why. This is the reason why the Catholic Church put people like you to death. This is the reason why the Catholic Church used to burn pieces of crap, pieces of garbage like you at the stake. Because you are pro-death. You are not pro-life. You are not pro-human. You are anti-human. You are anti-human. Anti-human.
Wait a minute. Why are you guys bailing out?
Being unhappy. Let's try and let's kick, not a gate kick. Wait a second. Let's shake hands. Let's agree to disagree. And I don't agree to disagree. You know what? I'm going after you guys in the media.
Go ahead. I hope you do, Eric Albell. Talk away. Bark away. Talk all you want about us.
Now, why are you bailing out? I thought we had a debate for 2 to 3 hours here.
No, you guys have both been barking nonstop. Talking to homeless people in the 7-Eleven. But they're just obsessed with gay sex. But this is a conversation that I think needs absolutely to continue at
I
some
think
time.
so, yeah.
And
And on a good note, let's look at the things that we do agree on.
That's right.
Islam is extreme.
Oh, we didn't know that. Go ahead. Tell something we don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's about all we can agree on. Guys, where can people go to get information about you?
Shoebat.com. Thank you for promoting the website that Eric Allen Bell hates so much.
SHOEBAT.com.
Oh, I'm glad to send people there.
Send them over, Eric. Send them over.
BAT.com. Guys, we got to go. Thank you so much. And we truly appreciate you coming on and giving us so much of your
And educating you.
Yeah, well, I hope you do better next time.
Absolutely. And there will be a next time. Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
All right.
What a joke.
That was a massacre.
And he was polite at the end. So you know what's gonna? He's come.